Well, that was sleepy.
Yeah, I almost fell asleep.
Yeah, I was going to go to
A
sleep.
longer countdown.
Yep. Well, today we are together and we're going to be talking about SEO and the term, how it's used, what it means in dental marketing. And hopefully we can add a little humor to the conversation as we go along. But same as last time, same crew. Dan Cristelli is our account manager, Casey Cleary, our senior project manager, and then myself, I'm the chief marketing officer at Jameson. So last time we talked a little bit about reviews, and we found something that I wished we could have fit into the episode last time that is pretty great. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll chat a little bit about it.
Eso de cuenta que lo estás grabando.
Hold on, that aspect ratio is driving me crazy.
Yeah, a little.
Let me see if I can get a better presentation of that.
This has quickly become one of my favorite videos of all time.
Yeah. All right, let me pull it up on Twitter and then I'll share it out here. This will be, let me see if I can do audio with share screen. I think we can do it. There we go. All right, here goes. This is just great.
Eso de cuenta que lo estás grabando.
All right, so I don't know who Western Dental and Orthodontics is, but that's just something right there. That's creative.
It certainly is, and you know, when I talk to our clients, they're always very concerned, as most businesses are, about the possibility of receiving a negative review. And that video makes me want to send it to them and say, look, you may have gotten a bad review on Google, but it could be worse. You could have upset someone so much that they're performing a live concert outside your building, proclaiming how bad you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing with that is, you know, that shows some creativity, some humor on the part of the patient, and I feel like for someone to go to that level, probably they tried a few things first that they didn't get a response to. Maybe they left an actual review and didn't get a reaction or response. But you know, if you experience something like that, put a little creativity in your response, you might get some engagement out of it.
I seriously could. I could watch that video every
day. I feel like I need the prequel to that, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's great. 100%. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about dental SEO, and this is a pet peeve of mine, which is why I picked it to talk about. So SEO is something that has evolved a bit over the years. It's always had sort of a potential for a negative connotation in the industry, even from the very beginning. So, and people refer to, you know, different types of SEO techniques as white hat or black hat SEO tactics, referring to, you know, magic terms. And so, you know, it's always been controversial, but in general, SEO is the, you know, research of search engine, you know, mechanisms, the way that algorithms work and how content gets ranked and all of that, and then implementing, you know, tactics to try to increase your visibility in search. Years ago, 10 years ago or more, it was quite, there were quite a few things you could do to sort of trick the algorithm into ranking you higher. Early on, it was there were things as simple as literally on a white background, putting white text, repeated keywords, and whoever had the most keywords ranked highest. And we all kind of laugh about that now because that's ridiculous and it doesn't work. And in fact, it'll get you delisted from search now. But there are some equally ridiculous techniques that people use today, like on the site title, putting, a keyword like dentist near me instead of using the practice name or things like that. And so in general, search algorithms have become very sophisticated, and the goal of search engines like Google is to make search results match humans' needs as closely as possible. So they're looking at human language analysis, they're looking at engagement, they're looking at all these other factors that have nothing to do with, some trick that somebody placed. So that being said, it's really key that SEO is not, the cornerstone of your marketing strategy. It really is a tool, just like you would have somebody go through something and edit it for grammar, or you would have somebody go through, a video and maybe cut it up and, optimize it a bit. The same is true of SEO. It really is, if you can optimize your website, you can optimize content, but it's not in and of itself a driver. Anyway, do you guys have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I prior to coming to Jameson, I worked at a company that made websites for a very niche market. And we would frequently get asked about some of the tactics that you talked about, keyword stuffing. Shouldn't we be mentioning this like 25 times on a page? Can you bury things in meta tags, which was always one of my favorite ones to hear. Because those were old tactics. 15, 20 years ago, that worked. And we would always have to explain to people. And I feel like, SEO became the sort of the boogeyman of online marketing, where businesses, and I know specifically today we're going to speak about dentistry, but businesses in general knew that it was something important, but they had no clue what it was. And marketing firms were taking advantage of that and just using it as the biggest buzzword they could to scare people into, well, you need to come and work on your SEO because it's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, it's definitely not your cornerstone, but something that should be part of the checklist. And algorithms are changing on a daily basis. Google changes on a daily basis. Social changes on a daily basis. Everything changes on a daily basis. And I follow a daily newsletter of Search Engine Land, and it is packed full of things that are constantly shifting in the world of search. And it's hard. It's a lot for us as professionals, I think, to follow and keep track of the latest trends. But for a dental practice or anybody else that is really ingrained in their own profession, I feel like it's got to be even more difficult for them to understand the latest and greatest of what's happening, what's working, what's not working. So while it's not a cornerstone, I totally agree with you, Nate. I feel like it's great that we as professionals can provide some of that value for our clients on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think all of that absolutely makes sense. If you look at if you build your website and your content human first, you are going to have at least some level of success if you are consistent in what you do. One great question to ask, I think, when it comes to SEO is, are you and the reason why it's not sort of the cornerstone of your strategy is it is an optimization technique. And so if you are not creating anything to optimize, then what's the point of the SEO? So in other words, if you built a website and you launched it and it's out there and the only thing you're doing month to month is SEO, what are you just re-optimizing the same thing over and over again? And so, you know, when your cornerstone is something like content marketing, which is what we really, you know, promote and we find success in, or when your cornerstone is other forms of, you know, there's different types of content. Obviously, there's video, there's photography, there's written content, all of that. Then you have somewhat of a case to be made to say, you know, we're putting something new out there every month. Let's make sure it's optimized. Anyway, let me go ahead and just look at a few things that we can just see and react to. And some of this may be a little bit meta, and we may be getting a little bit in the weeds, just a little bit, but hopefully you can appreciate some of it, the irony of it. Let me just share my screen again. So this is an article, again, sort of one of those that Casey referenced, where there's a lot of resources out there where they put together resources around the topic of SEO. So this one, John Miller is a someone from Google who engages with the public on topics of, you know, search engine algorithm changes and that sort of thing. And he responds sometimes to different people's tweets. So John Miller of Google responded to a complaint on Reddit where SEO or site owner was upset his 1-month-old site was not performing on Google search. The SEO said despite him creating backlinks on top websites with good domain authority and low spam score, his site is just not showing up. This was John's reaction. To be fair, I don't think, despite not having seen the sites, that these sites are spam. The links might be spammy in some sense, but my guess is the content is legit. It's just that over the years, the bar for legitimate content has also gotten higher. It's unique is not enough. And I think, you know, I think there you can see that he was referencing some, you know, SEO hacks and some SEO techniques like creating backlinks and to domains with high domain authority, which can be helpful in some instances. But if the content itself or the product itself is not of high quality, if it's not something that is engaging, then all your techniques are, you know, not going to be helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Getting an echo from someone. You guys hear that too, or is it me?
I don't hear it.
I do hear that. And I'm getting an echo too.
Fun technology. Anyway,
I wonder if it's from the screen share.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah. It's better now. Yep.
It's gone.
Okay.
And now my train of thought is audio.
Too. Yeah.
You know, I think content is king. You know, we say that frequently. And I see a case like this where someone, I mean, to me, I think someone expecting their site to be highly ranked after only being live for a month, you know, I think you're starting from a place of fallacy there to begin with. You know, I wouldn't expect any site to be highly ranked, any brand new site after only a month, no matter what level of content that they have on it. But, you know, again, like he said, he didn't see the site. We haven't seen the site that was being referenced, but there's almost no way that if they were concentrating so heavily on backlinking and the domain authority of the sites that they were linking to, you know, I find it very hard to believe that the content there was as robust as it could be. I know that we frequently talk to our clients about this, about you know, making sure we're updating our content, making sure that you know, not only with a fresh flow of blog posts, but looking at the actual pages themselves. You know, it's a super important thing, and it's become even more important over the last 5 or 6 years. And you know, there's, like a lot of things, there's no magic bullet, there's no quick fix. And you know, this to me sounds like a sort of a leftover of what you were referencing at the very beginning, those old techniques where you could game the system, if you will. And it sounds like this person was expecting that sort of the same sort of results as you might have been able to see 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's and that really good, so quality of content is something that can't be overstated. Anything that you're able to automate with a tool probably has that not much value in terms of kind of long-term benefit. And we see that with duplicate content, with plagiarized content, with content that, one feed of content goes to 30, 40 different sites. And so, in that case, that content has little to no value to the searcher. There's another thing that I did want to reference really quickly, and that is that while some SEO techniques might be silly and, not very effective, some can actually be harmful. So take the example that you mentioned, Dan, of people putting meta keywords in meta descriptions or alt text. While that was sort of a hack at the time, those meta descriptions and alt text were implemented for accessibility, so that people with screen readers, so that people who are vision impaired can understand what an image is about, understand what a button, what the purpose of a button is, that kind of thing. And so, especially nowadays, with a lot of the accessibility lawsuits that we've seen and things like that, misusing those areas of the site can actually hurt you in other ways as well. So those are just things to be aware of. Which, I guess to the positive of SEO, that is a positive SEO thing to understand. But, yep. Looking at another one. So let's see. So this is talking more about the link strategy. And he says, I'm torn about leaving a snarky reply, but to be a bit more useful, I consider that perhaps you're not spending your time on things that are effective for SEO as you'd like. Dropping links on random sites is not SEO anymore, it's just spam. All search engines have had to deal and ignore these kind of things for years now. This is not to mention the SEO tool will never be able to tell if a link is indexed. Everyone who crawls the web does it in a different way, with different speeds, with different assumptions. Even if you can see a link in the Google cache, that says absolutely nothing about whether that link is used for anything in search. So this really speaks to, and again, you may not run into these terms, but maybe you do if you're dealing with a marketing company. If they're spending a lot of their time talking about, we're creating backlinks on high authority sites, and that's their main strategy, he's basically saying, this has kind of become spam for search engines, and we've had to learn to ignore these types of techniques. Going on to another one, what are the best ways to increase the speed of indexing web pages on SERP? So that basically means, every search engine has a bot that crawls the internet and goes through and indexes your pages. That's how the search pulls up your result for a searcher. And they're saying, how do we increase the speed of it? It's been 2 months since 26,000 pages have gone live and submitted to XML sitemap. Google Search Console coverage reports only 1,200 are indexed, 20,000 are excluded. Any suggestions? So I love his response to this, because he says, what's on the 26,000 pages that's unique, compelling, and of high value? I mean, that's straight and to the point. If you have a website, and we see this with dental practices all the time, they have hundreds of pages around services and other things where the content is duplicate of content on other websites, or it's just very low value. And if you look at, the user experience of someone having to sort through a menu with 30 options, how is that user supposed to identify what's important and what's not? So anyway, I don't know if you guys have anything to add on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're talking a lot about. I'm on a lot of forums and communities in the marketing world, just to continue to kind of brush up on my knowledge. And a lot of the questions that get posed on there are, how can we hack this system? What's a hack that I can use as a shortcut? And I feel like our approach, I've been here for 2 years now at Jameson, and our approach has been very human centric. And it's great to see that filter be applied for our clients, and then see the results in the back end, and see that we don't, that there is no, no hacks being played. We have the right approaches of like depth of content, and we know, we have the marketing know-how to implement, good content strategy across our websites. But at the end of the day, we're doing it with the end patient in mind, and we see the online visibility numbers continue to rise. And so, I would say that it's very, tethers into a lot of these things that we're seeing from other community people that are trying to hack a system, trying to find a shortcut, rather than getting in there and implementing a content strategy, an ongoing content strategy, or implementing unique content on a website. Some heavy lifting things, but ultimately are going to achieve good results. So I just crazy to compare and contrast our scenarios to what we're seeing here.
Yeah. Yep.
Casey, first of all, I'd like to commend you on not passing out or having your head explode when Nate started talking about menus. As our project manager, Casey frequently works with our incoming clients on website redesigns. And I would say that fully 75% of the initial work that we wind up talking through is we need to rework your navigation structure. Too frequently we see with dental practices that a service is assigned to its own page. And when we look at what Google wants to see, and indeed what humans want to see when they're browsing these websites, it's less effective to see 150 to 300 words on a page than to have a detailed page of services that's 800 to 1,000 words long. So when you have crowns on their own page, there's only so much we can say about crowns to fill up a page. You could certainly write 800 to 1,000 words, but it's not going to be compelling content, especially not for a potential new patient. So one of the things we look at is we've got to condense that down and make it so it's not only palatable for the end user. We want to make sure that the visitor to the site is going to be able to navigate that properly and find the information they need. But Google looks at that. Google also wants to see that the information on the site is concise and that it's meaningful. And when you have it split up into 150 pages of 150 words each, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, absolutely, that's true. And we've actually, I think to the point of, we take advice from John at Google as well. So when he says something like that, one thing we've discussed a little bit more recently is, how do we get more effective at pruning content? Because we have some sites out there that have built quite a bit of content over the years. How do we get better at finding the content that's keystone, that's getting the most attention, the most traffic, updating it, making sure that it maintains its sort of relevance over time, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the conversation also is pretty interesting on this. So John says, to be honest, this sounds like pretty much any stock themed website, and it's auto generated. So I could imagine our systems just don't see the value of spending a lot of energy there. I'd focus on building significantly higher value for the long run. And that's in response to him saying that these web pages have tabled stock exchange data that's typically refreshed daily. And he says, understood, totally agree on this. So could an optimized XML sitemap, internal linking via blog and backlinking via blogger outreach help me in any way? Is it worth spending time on creating HTML sitemap, or just wait for Google to take its own time to index the pages? And he says, none of this makes your website better. So, I think this is an extreme example where they're taking content from around the internet, just stocks online, and they're creating pages around that topic, and thousands of these pages. So it's content that's duplicate from what's already available online, probably in better format and so forth and so on. But I think it goes to the point of duplicate content where we see, at least 70% of discovery calls that we have with new clients. When we analyze the content on their site, it's duplicate across 30 other websites. And it hurts you every time, because when Google sees duplicate content, at best, it's duplicate and has no value to the searcher. At worst, it's considered plagiarized, which can hurt you. You can actually have that, negatively impact your visibility in search.
Yeah.
So that being said, as we were kind of starting this conversation, Dan and I were kind of talking, and Dan was saying, do we even really reference SEO much in our promotional or marketing? And we don't. I mean, it's because I have such a strong reaction. I started as a small business owner who got into marketing after work, exploring 100 options that are out there and just finding them super confusing, super frustrating, fluffy, and of little substance. And so I reacted quite strongly to the term SEO because of how misused it is. And it's not the core of any proper strategy. It's important to have that knowledge and to implement it well. But so anyway, we're going to take a look just briefly at some descriptions from dental marketing companies. And many of these are great agencies, nothing negative to say about them, but just seeing kind of how they describe themselves from an SEO standpoint. So dental SEO that actually works. Over 80% of patients research dental practices online before calling. We make sure you show up. Interesting. SEO is an essential part of your marketing strategy. It ensures that patients can easily find you on Google and other search engines. Lots of factors determine how your website will rank in search, from mobile responsiveness and fast load time to simply including keywords in content, page titles, and URLs. Our SEO team combines on-site and off-site dental SEO strategies to ensure your dental practice's website is the best in the best position to rank in your market. We track everything in a customized dashboard that our clients have 24/7 access to, along with scheduled reporting calls each month to discuss the campaign. So any reaction to that?
I mean, their tagline, over 80% of patients research dental practices online before calling. I don't necessarily, I don't know if that number's correct. I do know in our experience that, that's probably pretty close. We make sure you show up. I'm a little, reading through what they're doing, I'm a little concerned with that. Like you said, these are probably great agencies for a lot of things, but I don't see the focus on content. And I know that, we focus so heavily on the content because we've seen that it works. And we understand that, if you, and I often talk to our clients about this, if you go to a website because you're trying to research something and you find a page that's stuffed full of meaningless information, and maybe there's a few tidbits that are good, you're going to get frustrated. And it can be the same thing when you don't put the primary focus on content. It can feel like you're going to one of those recipe blogs where you have to scroll through, 500 to 800 words of nonsense before you get to the recipe that you wanted to read. It's a similar content conundrum to me. If you're not putting meaningful stuff in there, why are you putting anything?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to try to say something without hopefully dropping off. But no, I completely agree. I thought, that we make you show up is a little bit strong for the description for my style. But to each their own.
I feel like the description, whether intentional or not, is vague as to how they achieve these things.
Yeah.
And what they say concretely wouldn't really make a strong impact, like making sure keywords are in your content, page titles, and URLs. Yeah, I mean, okay,
yeah.
But anyway, All right, next one. Liquis Digital. Probably butchered that name. Search engine optimization. Some patients will discover your website organically on the internet. Still, to really boost your patient load, your dental practice must rank higher in the searches. That's where the fun comes in. That's the grammar bothers me a
Yeah.
little
I'm a
bit
little
on that one.
confused.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's still organic search. What
Mhm.
they're talking about.
Yeah.
They don't really give enough information for my liking of what they're going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so vague. However, if you, to your point, Casey, SEO is specific to organic search ranking. SEM is specific to paid search advertising. So I don't know if they're mixing the two. RevUp Dental, rank your dental practice higher on Google. I love all these vague claims. We're going to rank you higher on Google. We're going to make you show up. There are a lot of great dentists out there that remain a best kept secret in their area because potential patients have a hard time finding them online when searching for a new dentist. In this video, we look at different factors Google looks at when deciding which dental practices to show at the top of the page and what you can do to increase online visibility of your practice. And I watched the video. I'll save you the time. But yeah, the thing that really stands out to me is that it seems like there's a strong, promise, very vague, and a reasonably strong statement of pain, like, or of the situation, like patients find practices through online search, or dental practices needs to show up high in search results, but there's very few details about how they're going to achieve the result that they're promising.
Yep.
Diamond Group. Dental SEO is the key to getting new patients. To attract new patients, you need to be found. 77% of patients start their search for a dentist as a search engine.
Dental
Dental
SEO.
Dental SEO helps you appear near the top and dramatically boost your online profile and visibility. Looks like they're doing some keyword stuffing here.
Yeah. I think we've already gotten a peek into what they do.
Yeah. Prospective patients start their research for a new dentist online. It's like they're restating. Making dental SEO a key source of new patients for your practice. If you're not on page 1 of Google, you're missing out on nearly every prospective new patient. It's quite a statement. Search engine optimization is how we get your pages to the top of the page of page 1 without paying for ad space. It involves identifying which keywords and phrases your target audience uses when looking for a dental office like yours, then working towards ranking well for those searches. Implementing strong quality SEO on a dentist's website is always going to be beneficial to the brand and its long-term marketing efforts.
I think what's interesting here, Nate, is there's a sentence here that I actually find to be one that we would use at Jameson, or at least some variation thereof, which is identifying which keywords and phrases your target audience uses when looking for a dentist office like yours and working towards ranking well for those searches. I think the difference is that we're using that in the context of our overall marketing strategy, and we go into great detail over how we're going to accomplish this. But that is the approach that we want to help with. Certainly one aspect of it, at least. But there's you should have titled this vague dental marketing. Everything here is kind of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen a less clear description of what you're getting dental
SEO.
Dental SEO. Yeah. One of the things that, just look at dental SEO helps you appear near the top and dramatically boost your online profile visibility. No, it doesn't. In and of itself, it does not do that. You have to have something quality of content and of substance that you're offering in order to do that.
Right. And I think going to the sentence that I like, that sentence is fine. Coupled with the sentence before it, they don't make sense together.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization is how we get your pages to the top of page one. No.
No,
No, it's
no, no, it's not. The other thing that I think is really interesting is that well, obviously I reacted to you're missing out on nearly every prospect of new patients. These kind of statements, which are hyperbolic in nature, don't engender trust for me. We know that a healthy dental practice gets 50% of their new patients from referrals. So obviously that's not an accurate statement. However, not to be, all hard on what they have to say. Again, it's clear they're presenting it as the cornerstone of their strategy, and it just isn't. The content behind it is what's important. Patient. Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, though, Dan. This is the one that does focus a little bit more on at least trying to understand.
Nope.
We lost him.
We lost Casey.
Yep.
Casey's in a corner of Oklahoma that had he's not.
Well, what he was going to say, I think, is that we do utilize keyword targeting for clients. You're back.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I talk, I feel like the connection starts to waver. But no, I was just going to say that this particular instance did focus a little bit more on the target audience and trying to understand their goals. So I do like that aspect, but I have no idea what dental SEO is. It does definitely big time keyword stuffing, just trying to kind of rank high for the dental aspect of this. So
I think you're being just a little bit generous on that, even with that, because even keywords and key phrases isn't the first thing that we
right.
Identify. The first thing we identify is what is it that you want to provide as a service, who is the audience you want to serve, and then we look at what other people are competing in your space. Then we identify if they're ranking well with content in a similar for similar terms, and then we identify which key terms we need to be targeting with our content and so forth. So even with that, there's more that goes into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of not only the questionnaire that we give to our new marketing clients that talks about the services, essentially to boil it down to a statement. What type of dentistry do you want to see yourself performing? I think that is the absolutely the cornerstone of how we approach it. And Jameson as a whole has always done this. We're trying to help dental professionals to lead happier lives. And the way that we're going to do that is by getting them to practice the dentistry that they want to practice. And that's certainly where we start. And, this follows afterwards. But it's there's more to it. This is one ingredient in a multifaceted pie.
Yep.
That's
two food references. I did just eat lunch. I swear I'm not hungry, but
sure. I love how these guys just put their fee right up there.
Yeah.
Dental SEO expert marketing, $6.99 a month using gold service, $9.99 a month using platinum service. Dental SEO, or SEO for dentists and dental practices, is complex and constantly changing. It is based on data science, human behavior, search algorithms, and 200 plus factors considered by Google search engine. Dental SEO, search engine optimization, is also known as natural SEO. Really? It implies that a search engine's results are displayed naturally without paying for ads. However, this is a very simplistic view these days for dentists. If SEO is done properly, you can have excellent SEO results, and you may not have to pay for ads. However, the only issue is that it takes several months to develop SEO for your dental website. Dental marketing experts are also known as dental SEO experts. Many keywords in here. They are also used interchangeably by the dental practice managers and dentists. Really? Generally, the practice managers mean that they are looking for an expert professional who can help them with patient acquisition and retention for their dental practice using ROI-based marketing and advertising. ROI stands for return on investment. Majority of dental practice managers focus on measuring ROI from the practice's dental marketing investment. I feel like this was written by AI and someone who has bad grammar.
Yeah. So there are
Sort of a
13
mashup
sentences.
of the
We know their keywords though.
Yeah.
There are 13 sentences in that paragraph, and if my count is correct, the words dental, dentist, dental or dentist appear 13 times.
There you go.
So they obviously had a benchmark they were shooting for.
It also seems like the keyword may have shifted a bit. So at the end, we're talking about ROI and practice managers and dentists and dental practice. Yeah, anyway. That's a mess. That is a hot mess right there.
Yeah.
Anytime you're doing something in the realm of marketing and you can't even read through the description without falling asleep, or there's bad grammar, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there. And I don't even know what I get with the platinum service at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Not much to be said on that. Kickstart Dental, SEO that does more, way more. I mean, these statements that people lead with, so ambiguous. Everybody seems to do SEO these days. We have a unique method of doing SEO that increases your practice's online exposure, builds your credibility, gets you in the news, and helps show your community pride. Wow.
How?
Yeah. Oh, and he's waving too. This is great.
Maybe the guitar playing gentleman from our earlier video works for Kickstart Dental Marketing, and
gets you in the news, right?
That's how it gets you in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, the top claim on all these does way more. Or that's where the fun begins, or it's hard to know what that truly means.
Well, it's and look at their example image is a map result, which is in its own category of local SEO, but it really is not that relevant to SEO at a high, as a category on its own. So many baseless claims besides the more, way more at the top. We also have a unique method of doing SEO. I just take that at face value that what you're saying is true, right? Because there's no way to verify that.
Well, you get into the orange text there. So I will say that this is one of the first ones of all the ones you've shown that even attempts to show what they will do. This does get into some of the things that they will do. I mean, I'm impressed by their 200 plus point SEO checklist. That's a lot. But and again, this is us speaking from the position of how we operate with our content, have quality content published each week. If we were to have a member of our content team on here and they could write blog posts for our practices every week, we would see a very unhappy person because there's a lot that goes into those posts. Each one of them is custom written. So I immediately question the word quality in that sentence, because they may see it as quality, but I'm sure that Google will see it as duplicated content, because I find it hard to believe that they're writing these uniquely for each practice.
Yeah, I'm just glad we got to take a breath from dental SEO. It didn't seem like that was
Yeah.
this one, so it was.
Yes. And everything, even in the orange, Dan, it's so only maybe one item in there has to do with SEO.
Mm.
A lot of the stuff is just really random mixture of things. We'll create quarterly press releases that will be picked up by national networks like CBS, ABC, Fox, Clear Channel, and more.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and maybe that's why I focused in on the content, because that one does seem like it's actually a measurable one. The other ones seem very, again, either vague or meaningless, misdirected.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see if we think we can handle any more of these. Let's see. All right, now I'm getting into the. All right, let me just look at this one. Doctors Internet. I know they're a big company, so I'm curious to see what is search engine optimization? Whenever a person types a search into Google or one of those other major search engines, the results get ranked according to a set of complex algorithms. SEO is a combination of methods used to provide these algorithms with necessary information to get your site shown in search results. Combination of method used to. No, I don't know if I would say that. For one thing, I feel like I'm being talked to as a kindergartner, maybe. It's like I've used a search before. I kind of have a concept of how it works in a way. But again, SEO is not, to me, that kind of highlights a little bit of the thinking behind kind of the older techniques of SEO, which is, I'm going to trick the search engine algorithm into ranking me a certain way based on little tricks and hacks that I can do, as opposed to just saying, I'm going to make sure that my content is optimized for a user, has all the proper, metadata and all that attached to it. Instead, and the real focus here is on how we feed the algorithm, in a certain way. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the first thing I keyed in on was what you said. I'm not, not to use the word tone, but I'm not very comfortable with the tone of how they're approaching it. I do understand, especially I speak to our clients every day. And one of the things I'm very cognizant of is trying to make sure, I know as marketers, we can use some terminology that's very familiar for us and maybe not so familiar for most people. So I always try to get a baseline understanding of what I'm talking about. But I feel like this is, like you said, speaking down a little bit more. I think that could have been written in a little bit more of an approachable way. I'm trying to read their difference between organic search and paid search part as well. And I don't know if I agree with their paid search, on the other hand, offers a quick way to achieve page one results. Well,
yeah, no. We that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic. Well, so in general, I think I've had just about enough of that. But in general, the key takeaway, I believe, is, and again, this is us reacting to stuff that's on the internet. These are probably great companies, great agencies. If you work with one of them, I'm sure that you have a much better sense of what they actually offer than we do, just kind of looking at it. And we welcome any feedback or input that you have on our stuff as well. That being said, I think key thing again is SEO is not a cornerstone of any marketing plan, any marketing approach, and one of the reasons why I believe it is attractive to agencies to offer something like this is because it is hard to quantify. It is hard to, actually look at something physical as a deliverable of it. Whereas when you're providing something quality, and something that's informational, educational, authentic in terms of content, whether that's video or written content or imagery, it's something that you can, as a human, which is what we're trying to market to as humans, identify and assess the value of.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that, like most buzzwords that can be hard to define, but people hear them and feel like they're important. I think that's what we're seeing here. Is there's a lot of a lot of push on those three letters SEO to put them out there and make it seem like such a major part of the marketing strategy, without really talking about what it is. And I think obviously I really like our approach to things, so I'm biased certainly, but I think that as you've mentioned throughout this talk, if you feel like you read an entire pitch and still have no clue what's being provided,
Mm-hmm.
there's a problem.
And if you've read one of our pitches and it's like that, please let us know.
Yeah, yes, please let us know.
We'll work on it. Trust me. Yeah. Anything to add, Casey? I was going to let Western Dental play us out.
Yeah, if I can make it through, if I cut out, I should probably say goodbye now. But no, I think I would tie into what you were saying, Dan, that our approach. I really do appreciate our approach. Our marketing manager just shared this in our internal chat today. Is that she was searching for some information, and one of our blogs showed up at the top. From just the natural content marketing that we're putting out, and we don't try to game the system. We're not trying to, we just have that human lens to our approach. And so I think that speaks volumes to what we do on a day in and day out. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be a part of a group that, thinks that way, and we're able to kind of see the end results as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Please definitely do join us for our next episode where we'll talk more about dental marketing. We have lots of information related to this on our Grow platform, grow.jmsn.com, where you can learn about dental marketing, dental leadership, case presentation, scheduling, hygiene. All those things are included on our dental learning platform. And to end, I will play us out with the review. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.